What's up YouTube, Capital G here, even more Salamangreat duels for you guys to check out. Not only are these going to show some competitive duels, but mainly I just wanted to showcase this ridiculous turn one that I had, which actually isn't really all that out of the ordinary. You guys are going to see me make a pretty simple +5 in my first turn with the potential to have a +6, and you might notice here, this is going to be done with just 3 Salamangreat cards. Not like I needed 5 cards or anything like that, because obviously Ash Blossom and Breakthrough Skill are not going to help me combo out. These plays are all incredibly simple with Salamangreats. That's why I like this deck so much. Usually, off your normal summon, if you summon Ladybug or you summon Foxy, you're almost always going to get a plus. Ladybug is a guaranteed plus. Foxy, because I think I run 27 to 28 Salamangreat cards, gets me my Monster Reborn for free. We're going to Rhoda for Spinny, I think, and then we're going to discard Spinny. Now we're going to get another +1 from Valence. We're going to special summon our Gazelle, the Armageddon Knight. We're going to drop the Infernity Barrier in the graveyard. Now the thing is, you almost always want to make Mirage Stallion turn 1. I think if you're playing maybe against Ultrageist and you have a terrible hand, you can go for Transcode Talker plus Sunlight Wolf so they can't target you. But generally, you want to make Mirage Stallion. You want to drop your Jack Jaguar. This is the monster you guys want to summon, Jack Jaguar, because not only does it give you a body on field so that you can get to Sunlight Wolf the Link 2, but it also will summon itself back from the graveyard, thus letting you trigger your Link 2 at the same time. So in that case, it kind of becomes a +2, which is just insane. Now we're going to Reincarnation Link. The reason I Reincarnation Linked is because your Jack Jaguar has to send a monster back from your graveyard to the deck. You don't want to send any of your other cards because this guy gives you protection in the graveyard, so you don't want to send that. And then this card will summon itself during your next turn, so you don't want to send that. So you kind of need to make something else to send. So that's why you Reincarnation Link. Reincarnation Linking will also potentially reset your Infernity Barrier if you want to go full max out on your advantage. By the way, this is I'm actually showing you guys how to combo out with this deck if you're not noticing. So Jack Jaguar summons, we get a plus. Because we got our Monster Reborn for free off of our normal summon of Foxy, we get another +1. Keep in mind, Will of the Salamangreats, it will give us a +1 Monster Reborn every single turn. So, you know, people got to get rid of that card as well. And then finally, we are going to activate our Sunlight Wolf, and we're going to add our Infernity Barrier to our hand and finish our turn. Now, keep in mind, if we really wanted, this is 10 cards on field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Field in hand, sorry. If I really wanted to maximize my pluses here, what I would have done was, instead of actually adding my Infernity Barrier to my hand off of my Sunlight Wolf, I would have reset this card when I Reincarnation Linked. I would have set it with its own effect, and then I would have used Circle, or excuse me, I would have added Circle from Sunlight Wolf, and that would have given me 11 cards, guys. That would have been a +6. Now, that opportunity for that play was completely on the table. I just didn't take it because I was like, well, when you do set this card of its own effect, when you activate it, like, it doesn't go to the graveyard, it gets banished, so you only get 1 use out of it. But you guys will see in these duels, a lot of times when you open like this, you go +5, +6, like your opponent's never in the game anyways. The 1 Infernity Barrier is almost guaranteed to stop him. He uses Ray Effect. We're going to Infernity Barrier. Game's basically over at this point. Even if I don't put another monster on board, I basically have game already. Like, even if I don't do all of this stuff for style points, I think he's going to activate Shared Ride. We're just going to Ash that. The really cool thing about Sunlight Wolf, this is the reason you can outgrind in this deck. Even though I did use Sunlight Wolf, well, I tried to use Sunlight Wolf and we Ash, we are going to get a +2 off of this card. Not, well, Ladybug gives me a plus, but we special summon to its link point, thus adding Ash back, and I believe I added the Infernity Barrier back, so that was another plus, so that's a +2. And then the thing is, because we had so many monsters turn 1 on the board, well, I think just 3, we're able to take that and convert it into more damage, not just going for an extra link or a link summon in Heat Leo. Don't make this card turn 1 basically ever unless you're going second and you're kind of desperate. Most of the time you won't need it, but the deck has so many monsters that special summon themselves from the graveyard, you can generally just swarm. Now, this is showing you guys just some of the simple combos in this deck. He made me go first. This is the same duel. So this is the reason why this is the most important card in the deck, Gazelle. Gazelle can kind of be anything that you need. If you need to go hyper fast, Gazelle can do that. If you need to get your Infernity Barrier in the graveyard, Gazelle can do that. If you need to get something like Spinny in the graveyard or Jack Jaguar, Gazelle basically covers everything, and it can do it with your special summon or without using your normal summon. But here, I don't really know. Like, I don't have, he's going second, and I felt that was kind of weird, so I'm like, maybe he sided an evenly match. There's no reason for me to overcommit, so instead of me going all, you know, balls to the wall trying to combo, I'm like, here's what I'll do. I know you're playing Sky Strikers, you can't OTK because your deck doesn't do any damage. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to normal summon I'm going to drop Falco in the graveyard. I'm going to bounce. I have a monster on field to block an attack or to take an afterburner, and I'm just going to pass. I'm going to let you commit to the field because I sense he has evenly matched. Obviously, we both have it, but the thing is, if your opponent thinks that this is a deck like Ultra Guys, like I can leave my field open, this deck can't do damage. No, this is a deck that can OTK off of just 2 cards. You guys saw the only monsters that I put on board there were basically my Falco that I had turn 1. And then I normal summoned my my copy of Gazelle, which, by the way, is still in my hand. I bounced it again with Falco, and we have 8,100 damage on board. And one of the cool things about this OTK is not only is it stupidly easy, this is one of the only decks that can do it. Because Update Jammer is a card from the anime, and it requires you to use Cyberus monsters. This comes out in Savage Strike, by the way. I gotta get this. But yeah, this is 8,100 damage. This means that this is basically an OTK that is exclusive to our archetype, and it's so easy to do. So if people ever think they can leave their field open against Salamangreats, like you can't do anything. Like no, you just kill them. Just kill them. And you see, even if the OTK didn't work, I still had Gazelle in my hand, so I'm not losing anything. You can see this is going to be a duel against Paleo. We're going to have the absolute most dog shit of opening hands. Sometimes this does happen, guys. You will get hands that are just like trash. And, you know, this duel, honestly, on paper, should be an easy loss. But because I have cards like Lost Wind, which, you know, is my own personal tech, I just think that, like, those cards give you so much value. He activates the Nightmare Phoenix. We lost Wyndham. We know he's going back into his extra deck, so we know we're just going to reset Lost Wind. I still believe that, honestly, outside of maybe Sky Strikers, I feel like Lost Wind should be in every single card or every deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Seriously, so tell me, guys, tell me a deck that shouldn't be running Lost Winds right now. Unless you're playing like an FTK, even Dark, maybe not Rongo, because if you put Rongo, you should win, and if you don't put Rongo, like Lost Winds not going to save you in that case. But I feel like Lost Winds is one of the best traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably top 3. I've said that before. He is going to let me use my Rhoda. Now, this is going to be one of those duels where, again, I know I can't combo out on this guy. Like, there's no point. This is, again, why you like Gazelle. There's no point in trying to combo out on him when he has a totally awesome on field and 4 fucking back rows. So, I know I can't combo out. I have to play this duel incredibly slow. We're just going to use the bounce effect of our Falco. Then we're going to go into the Link 2. Again, these are all pretty safe plays, in my opinion. I did Reincarnation Link into a Lost Wind, which does kind of suck. Lost Wind hits basically every deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Super good against Sky Strikers, super good against like Thunder Dragons, even good against this deck. But he did let me get my Raccoon. He tries to get my Raccoon out. Unfortunately, he forgets about Phalanx, and we're able to just use Raccoon. He tries to negate it, to which we just Infernity Barrier him. And now you look at the game and it's like, okay, I'm kind of in it. He's going to make another totally awesome. I believe he drops totally awesome every single turn in this entire duel, and somehow we're still in this. Now, this is where he makes a couple of misplays. I summon Ladybug. He uses Lost Wind thinking that it's breakthrough skill. Unfortunately, it only works on special summon monsters, so he has to basically waste it. We are going to get another Gazelle here. I Reincarnation Link, resetting my Infernity Barrier for free, so that's a +1. And now we're actually going to be able to... Oh yeah, he used Gozen Match, which is just weird. Another good thing about this deck, it's immune to Gozen Match pretty much, and Robbery of Warlords. People play those against, like, you know, a lot of decks in the meta. Doesn't do anything against this deck. Now, I did drop Will of the Salamangreats in my graveyard off Gazelle and added it to my hand off of my my Sunlight Wolf, which is the Link 2. A lot of times I use references to other names because for those of you who don't know, you know, these cards, I just feel like you can understand when I say Infernity Barrier or MX Saber Invoker, you kind of understand what the effects do. I did Reincarnation Link in this turn. No, actually, no, I didn't. I just summoned Heat Leo. I went after a back row, and then I summoned Flame Administrator. This is another card that I wasn't running before, guys, but it's actually really good. Not only is it a fire monster, so, you know, it's kind of nice because, again, it plays around like things like Gozen Match and Robbery of Warlords because it's Cybers, but it actually makes your monsters so ridiculously big, man, and it's basically 2,000 attack as well, so really good card. This final duel is against Strikers. This was a game too. You can tell because I have evenly matched. I always sided going second against Sky Strikers against a different guy. And you guys might think that this is like boastful or something, but this is just the way it is. I feel like Sky Strikers cannot beat this deck. If you guys don't believe me, take my deck, neck deck it, play it card for card, play it for like a week until you guys know the deck and feel comfortable. Play the Sky Striker matchup. I promise you, you'll win probably 9 out of 10 games. The reason why is because Sky Strikers, and this is why this deck can beat Thunder Dragons as well, they just can't account for the trap cards. The trap cards are the same reason, like it's the same reason that like Paleozoic shits on Thunder Dragons because Dynamiscus and Lost Wind just wreck that deck. It's the same concept here. They can't play around Lost Wind. They can't play around Breakthrough Skill. These decks like Thunder Dragons and Sky Strikers, they have to go in their extra deck. And even though those cards can be good against Salamangreats as well, Salamangreats have the Reincarnation Link. So you can get your effects back online through the Reincarnation Link. Other decks don't have Reincarnation Link, so you know, like they don't have a way of inherently dodging it. You're going to see me drop my Raccoon back into the graveyard. We're going to use a card that I don't use very often in Nightmare Phoenix, but you know, sometimes I'll use it. I was locked into the fire attribute. That's one of the reasons I used it. I felt comfortable popping his field spell because if he gets another like Ray, who gives a fuck, honestly. I get my Infernity Barrier for free off the normal summon Reincarnation Link. We're probably going to make his attack very low. Actually, no, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to crank my Spinny up to 2300, and then we're just going to put a bunch of offensive pressure. When I run over one of his monsters, I get my Raccoon back from my hand, and you guys can see 2 turns into the duel, as I showed you guys in the other Sky Striker duel, the game's basically over. I mean, what's Sky Striker going to do against 3 fucking copies of Lost Wind? Are you going to power through? You basically have to go through 6 Link Bond. You're going to power through 3 Lost Winds and an Infernity Barrier? Like, no. There's no way for them to break boards like this, and I feel like this is a deck that not only has A+ offense, it basically has A+ defense as well. That's why I feel like Salamangreats are one of the most complete decks in the meta. Now, I'm not going to say the deck is invulnerable, because yeah, sometimes you just get trash hands, and there is a bad matchup out there. I'm not sure if I'm ready to reveal what our bad matchup is as of yet. Because there's not that many people in the Yu-Gi-Oh community that know like that much about this deck. I'm one of the only few who knows like everything about this deck, or pretty much knows it in and out. But there is a bad matchup out there, and it's a deck that actually can like utterly wreck wreck Salamangreats. But this is what my deck looks like on paper. You guys will probably notice that every single time I show my deck at the end of the video, it looks like maybe 1 or 2 cards have adjusted. The last adjustment, not only did I take out Castel for the Flame Administrator, but I took out I took 1 Foxy down for Ladybug. The thing about Ladybug and why it's so insanely good in this deck, honestly, I can see this card getting limited in the future just because of how fucking good this deck is. And really, like, this card is nuts on paper. You normal summon it and you get any level 3 or lower Cyberse monster, and because this deck has so many ways of special summoning, it doesn't matter you use your normal summon, especially considering this card goes into the Link 1. So this card is technically a play starter for this archetype. You don't have to normal summon this, get a search and pass turn. Like, no, you normal summon this and then you fucking combo out on your opponent. So this will get Gazelle, which is the most important card in the deck. It's the main reason to run 3. You just want to, like, when you look at these two, they're both +1s generally on summon, but this gets you to the best, like, Ladybug gets you to the best summon in the deck. So I even ordered 3 of my Ladybugs on eBay. I was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and get this card now. But it also gets you Spinny, it gets you Mole. If you play Mirror, it'll get you that, it'll get you Raccoon, and the rest of the deck is kind of self-explanatory. For anybody out there, I would say this: if you do want to go for more of the Violet Chimera Cheese, which I don't really think helps you grind at all, I think that it's kind of linear, and it is good for what it does, but it only helps you OTK. Do not run double copies of Fusion of Fire. You need to be running Signet Fusion, because you cannot activate 2 Fusion of Fire in the same turn. I see so many new players make that mistake. If you play Signet Fusion, not only is it searchable from Clock Spartai, you can activate them back to back, and you can still use your opponent's monsters as well. So, you know, that's just what the proper way, in my opinion, to do it. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Also, when Triff makes his combo videos, guys, go ahead and support him. In fact, I'm going to link Triff's channel. Triff, this is the Salamambassador. Thank you for, supporting the Salamangreat archetype. Do us proud, my friend.